Welcome to the Takeoff Podcast, the go-to construction podcast for construction professionals seeking inspiration, education, or motivation for the next steps in their career. Each Monday, you'll be joined by me, Mick Donaghy, Managing Director of GEDON Executive Recruitment and a respected name from the industry. A construction leader, a business owner, or someone in the thick of the action. The whole premise of this podcast is for you to get something from it. An idea, a connection, a mentor, whatever it is, I hope you get it. And I hope you enjoy the show. Without further ado, let's get into it. Question 2 is, I've listened to a few episodes of the podcast and really enjoyed them. I have a question which might be a good podcast topic about people in senior positions who may want to take the foot off the accelerator and coast towards retirement. Have you come across anyone who has done this, and how did this conversation go? Every employer seems to want to sell advancement and aspiration. I don't want that anymore. Happy to have a chat if you want to give me a call. Actually, a really interesting question. It's actually the opposite of most questions that I get to hear this. But this week, I placed a 69-year-old into a company. More energy than most 30-year-olds that I know. Certainly more network, more knowledge, incredible human being. So age is just a number in many cases. But if you're looking at going, right, what can I do to take my foot off the gas? I think it largely depends on what you do. So if you're an estimator, or if you're a QS or a CA or project manager, there's different ways that you can structure the next phase of your career. So this last week, I had a company ask me for a senior person who was basically at retirement level, because they know that person's probably not that career hungry. Right, guys, so I'm absolutely pumped to say the Takeoff Podcast is proud to be sponsored by RIB Software, the company behind some of the leading estimating software in the entire planet, including Costex, Candy, CX, and more. So firstly, if you didn't know, RIB are a powerhouse at providing innovative software solutions to the construction and engineering markets. They have over 500,000 users globally, are known universally as a solution provider for your entire project lifecycle, from planning to construction and beyond. RIB solutions help to ultimately connect people, processes, and data, so your project comes within budget, on time, and to the quality desired, all whilst reducing your business's carbon footprint. All this stuff matters, and RIB has the solutions. So if you're interested in finding out more, get on over to rib-software.com, reach out to your local team and quote Takeoff Podcast. For every listener who buys a subscription of RIB Costex, they will provide one free online training course. Okay, guys, back to the episode. And they know that they're not going to look to take a massive salary. They would effectively come in and become a mentor to the estimating team that is currently there. And so that particular person was effectively being used as more like as a mentor, as a leader, as someone who can just come in and coach and nurture the team that's already there. It's like a value add to that particular team. And they didn't want someone who's like career hungry or egotistical, or someone who's coming in to like prove what they're worth. It was someone who was like, I've already went through all this stuff before. I've done all that and I've learned from all of that. It was like the old wise man kind of thing, but it's basically someone who's going to look after and nurture. Yeah, I mean, there's companies that physically want people like that. I would say it's easier to find those jobs if you're in estimating. The reason being is because good estimators are so hard to find in any sort of capacity. So therefore, you just have a bit more opportunity. If you're in, say, like a commercial management role. Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast today to give you some information as to what I actually do every single day. So I own and operate a business called GEDON Executive Recruitment. We're a specialist boutique recruitment company, and we specialize purely in the pre-construction and commercial construction markets globally. We're really well known and respected for our work in estimating, cost management, quantity surveying, and contract administration. Because we're hyper niche, we don't have millions of candidates. We don't really even have thousands, but more times than not, we have the right candidate for the right job at the right time. Unlike a lot of recruitment agents out there, we are super experienced in what we do. We understand the market, we understand what makes our clients tick, and our candidates tick too. Each and every single assignment we work on undergoes an extensive executive search process. It's robust and it works 100% of the time. We've also got a team of 5 researchers who map our markets out globally within our niche. They're amazing. They allow us to work fast, which saves our clients time and money too. So if you're interested in our process, drop us a message. Now back to the episode.
Or even like a contract management role, it's a bit more tricky. It all depends on your network, and it all depends on who you know and what you know. Most people at the latter stages of their career, I would reverse engineer it and say, right, why do I want to sort of coast into retirement? Okay, so if you've been working for 40 years, you don't want the pressure, all of that good stuff. Okay, so what do you want then? I'd love a job where, there isn't that much stress. It's maybe 20, 30 hours a week. Okay, so if it's 20, 30 hours a week, would it make sense to look at going freelancing where you effectively set up your own LTD business or PTY business, and you basically go and speak to every company that you've ever worked for before in the past. Go and speak to all your brothers and sisters at the cycle club, or the golf club, or, at the membership drinks that you go to. Speak to people and say, hey, I'm doing some freelance work in this. Do you ever need any help on that side? And what I would say is quite quickly, you'd probably pick up 20 to 30 hours of work per week. The difficulty in freelancing is not consistent, but what it might do is you could be very busy for 3 months and then have nothing to do for two months. You could be steadily busy for 20, 30 hours a week for the full year. You do just find that if you've got a skill set, really promote that skill set. Actually go out and put together like a mini capability statement. There's people who could do that stuff online. They can give you a 4 or 5 pager. This is what I've done before in the past. Here's all the projects I've worked on. This is my professional profile. Get a professional profile photo. Here's companies I've worked for in the past. Here's my qualifications. And then to start posting that out there, get that out there to who you know in the market. And I would say you pick up that type of work very, very quickly, very, very comfortably, just in a business, and you're approaching retirement. Believe me, your company will know that you're approaching retirement and you will want a level of taking the foot off the gas a bit. Unfortunately, companies can be quite difficult because the resource market's very, very difficult. So you've just got to say, listen, I'm looking to step away from the demand that's currently put on me. What would you feel about me, not fully retiring just yet, because I understand you're under the pump, but what would you say, maybe cutting back to 20, 30 hours a week? I could commit to that for 4 or 5 years, but, if you were wanting full time for me, I've probably only got 6 months left. Like that, look at it that way. The oldest person I've ever placed was 74, and he was a site manager, so like there's different ways of doing things. I think it's all about, your energy levels, what you want. But if I can ask or kind of give any advice, reverse engineer it, say, this is what I want, go and have conversations, look at maybe doing a bit of freelancing work. I think there's an absolute demand for older, skilled people in the market. And whether that's in a nurturing role, a mentoring role, anything like that, I think there's definitely merit there. And I'm actually seeing it right now because there's such a scarcity in resources that, those older people who have been there and done it are even more in demand than before.
Before you go today, guys, I'm just going to ask you to do one thing. Can you please go to Apple right now or Spotify right now and just give us those 5 stars? Hit that 5-star button. It makes such a difference you wouldn't believe. The whole idea of this show is to inspire, educate, and motivate our listeners. And we only do that if we're getting the best guests. The best guests want to see data. They want to see information. They want to see how many listeners that we get. And so all of this stuff is really, really important. So if you can just literally go and do that today, if you enjoy the show, just go and hit that 5-star button. It makes such a difference. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We're going to continue to push this out there every Monday. So if you can, hit that 5-star button. And if you can't, even share it with a friend. Go on to WhatsApp, flick it on to your crew. Guys, thank you so much for listening. On to next week.